Hi there, today we'll be looking at Pokemon Arceus. I'm going to be looking at the story, graphics, gameplay, audio, and just my overall thoughts. Let me start off by saying this review is entirely my opinion, and if you have a different opinion than me, great. This is my opinion. So, if you have any other opinions on the game or this video, please let me know down in the comments below, and that would be epic. I love the Pokemon series, but recently the mainline games have let me down hard. I played Sword and Shield most recently, and just like previous games, I found it extremely slow and too repetitive for me to enjoy. Every time I accidentally fell into a Pokemon in the wild, I would actually roll my eyes because I knew it would take me so long to run away from the battle. I understand these games have their audience, but they simply weren't for me. So, when I saw gameplay of Pokemon Arceus, of course I was excited. Let's get started by talking about the graphics. I don't have much to say about the graphics. Pokemon has never been crazy with graphics, but besides some interesting Pokemon models, this game was pretty lackluster in most graphics. Like look at the water compared to some other water on the console. Look at the grass compared to some other grass on the console. Look at games like Mario Odyssey, a game that came out in 2017, almost 5 years ago, or Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. The game Arceus is trying to copy the vibe of. Those games are way better looking than this. Even third-party games like Dying Light, which runs natively on the Switch, looks far better than this. Now, I know Game Freak doesn't work with high-definition consoles, and they don't push graphics as much as Naughty Dog, but they could have asked different dev teams to maybe help them out with some graphics. Or cutscenes. Let's talk about cutscenes. Some of those animated cutscenes look great, and I love them. They look really good for the art style this game is trying to pull off, but the dialogue scenes where there's just minutes and minutes upon reading just drove me a little mad. Don't get me wrong, I can appreciate all the text, and it stays true to the previous Pokemon games, and that's fine, but sometimes it just drags on and gets super repetitive. I get this game is aimed for kids, and yeah, it makes sense why the main plot point is repeated over and over again in the dialogue, so no one gets lost in case they do decide to skip a few lines. Just sometimes I'll read the text like this. Or sometimes I'll read the text like this. Now, what about the audio? Like most Pokemon games, this game has some satisfying sound effects. When you toss and capture Pokemon, it sends a shiver just down my spine when I catch a Togepi. The music itself is very peaceful with lots of piano melodies just like Breath of the Wild. When you open the game, it plays some piano riffs. It's beautiful. You just listen to it. The battle music slaps. It goes hard. It's a mix between orchestra and synth-sounding music, and just together it sounds amazing. Now let's go back to the dialogue scenes for a second. Some music in the dialogue scenes just becomes way too repetitive. Like way too repetitive. With some cheap melodies like when you're eating that potato mochi, or whatever it's called, when you're eating and you're talking to the Professor Laventon. It's just the music. Oh, it's just repetitive and over and over and over again. And the music is good, but listening to the same melody over and over again, without it building at all, or building very limitedly. Most music, like when you're in Jubilife Village, is actually pretty good. It doesn't seem repetitive. It's pretty much perfect. Oh, and Game Freak. Please, voice acting. I just don't want to read that much. It's so much reading. Voice act. Let's move on to gameplay. The gameplay is the best I've seen in a Pokemon game. It makes me want to be the Pokemon game myself. From riding around on Weirdeer, to swimming on a big pink fish, to flying on a white big bird. The transportation methods in this game is fast and convenient. Getting around the map is pretty simple. The amount of Pokemon you potentially run into makes you not want to fast travel. And whenever I think it's time to move on to a new location, I constantly find myself wanting to stop and explore the map just to see if there's any new Pokemon to catch. The Pokeballs are easy to throw, with a perfect curve. I just wish I didn't have to throw my Switch every time I threw a Pokeball. Maybe motion controls would be a neat idea for throwing. There is motion controls for throwing when you're aiming. I used it a bit, but actually thought I could be more precise using the right stick. But I'll give props to Game Freak for adding the possibility to do that. The Pokedex mechanic makes it addicting to try to complete each Pokemon's Pokedex entry. Instead of just catching one Pokemon and it gets added to the dex, you need to catch multiple, or simply feed, fight, or just watch the Pokemon, and then you can complete its entry. This actually makes sense, since you're the first one to complete the Pokedex. I don't have much bad to say about the gameplay, but there are some tweaks that I'd like to see, like a stamina bar in Breath of the Wild, Or maybe when you're aiming at a Pokemon and it just shows you the next available point that you can get when you're trying to catch or whatever. For example, how many more Pokemon you need to catch to get another point in the Pokedex for that Pokemon. We'll talk about the main campaign. I won't spoil it for you if you haven't played it, but here's the gist of the story. Long story short, you're a teenager who falls from the sky. Yes, falls from the sky. Who's impressively good with Pokemon. The game is set in a time when Pokemon and humans don't live together, and most of your average Joes are scared of most Pokemon. So, just like previous games in the series, you magically, all of a sudden, stumble across a professor of Pokemon, and he wants you to complete the Pokedex. That's the story. Oh, and just a quick detail I found interesting. The Pokedex that you're actually using is made out of paper, because it's not techie. This is like a prequel to all Soul's Pokemon games, so I think that's pretty cool. I really hope this is the new normal for Pokemon games. Fast, speedy game mechanics. And I really wanted to see this type of gameplay in new Pokemon games like Scarlet and Violet games that were just announced. Which, by the way, look way better than this game. If this gameplay was implemented in those new Scarlet and Violet games, that would be amazing. This game, Pokemon Arceus, gets me excited for future Pokemon games. Let me know what you thought about this review. I'm going to be giving this game an 8 out of 10. That's going to be it for today's video. Comment down below if you have any other video ideas for me. Make sure you like and subscribe. Share with your friends and family who you think might enjoy this video. I will see you in the next one. See you later.